Time is 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Stone?
Here.
Mr. Brumfield?
Here.
Mr. Yeaman?
Here.
Mr. Easley?
Here.
Ms. Warren?
Here.
Mr. Craddock?
Here.
Mr. Merrick's?
Here. I'd like for each of us to stand and have a moment of silence, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. You have the agenda in front of you. Are there any additions to the agenda? Hearing none, do I hear a motion the agenda be approved?
So moved.
Got a
Second.
motion by Mr. Yeaman, second by Mr. Stone. Cast your vote. All right, motion passed. All right, we have the minutes of our November meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, do I hear a motion that they be approved?
So moved.
Mr. Craddock,
Second.
Mr. Yeaman. Cast your vote. All right, any old business?
I just would like to update the board that the Board of Supervisors decided to postpone voting on the adoption of the zoning ordinance update until their January meeting. So that will be heard again at their January, I think it's 21st meeting.
All right. Any new business?
We do not have any new business.
I believe we have one case in January.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Under the chairman's report, I will say that January will be my last meeting. I'm retiring after 23 years on this board. But I'll have probably a little more to say at the January meeting, just to give you all a heads up. We need to be electing officers in the January meeting, so chairman and the vice chairman, so keep that in mind. All right, the time is 6:02. We're going to open the public hearing, read the precepts. Pursuant to Article 5, Division 7 of the Pittsylvania County Zoning Ordinance, we, the Board of Zoning Appeals, have been empowered to hear and decide specific applications and appeals in support of said ordinance. In accomplishing this important task, we are charged with promoting the health, safety, and general welfare of the citizens of Pittsylvania County. We must ensure that all our decisions and recommendations be directed to these goals and that each be consistent with the environment, the comprehensive plan, and in the best interest of Pittsylvania County, its citizens, and its posterity. Anyone here to speak to the board other than the applicant regarding zoning cases will be limited to 3 minutes. Time is 6:03. Case S24020, Ms. Ragsdale.
Case S-24-0220, Tillman Infrastructure has petitioned for a special use permit on 30.81 acres located on U.S. Highway 29 in the Bannister Election District to allow for a cell tower in accordance with Pennsylvania County Code Section 35-384. On November 7th, 2024, the Planning Commission recommended by a 7-0 vote with no opposition that the petitioner's request be granted. The staff summary is enclosed in the board packet. Mr. Chairman, Ryan Ivey is here to represent the petition.
All right. Yes, sir. Do you have anything to add to the application?
No, sir. I don't have anything other than what's been presented. I'm here to answer questions if you got them.
All right. Thank you very much. Do we have anybody signed up from the public to speak?
No, Mr. Chairman, we do not.
All right. Time is 6:04. We'll close the public hearing. Do we have any questions for the applicant? A positive motion. All right. Whereas Tillman Infrastructure has petitioned the Board of Zoning Appeals for a special use permit for a cell tower, and whereas we find no substantial detriment to adjacent property, that the character of the zoning district will not be changed thereby, and that such use will be in harmony with the purpose and intent of the ordinance. I move the special use permit be granted. Motion
So moved.
by Mr. Yeaman, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Brumfield. Cast your vote. Motion passed. Thank you for coming out. All right, the time is 6:05. We'll open the case to S24-021. Ms. Ragsdale.
Case S-24-021, Michelle Howler has petitioned for a special use permit on 5.20 acres located on State Road 861 Mountain Run Road in the Tunstall Election District to allow for a campground on the property in accordance with Pennsylvania County Code Section 35-179. On November 7, 2024, the Planning Commission recommended by a 7-0 vote with no opposition that the petitioner's request be granted with the conditions recommended by staff. Staff summary is enclosed in the board packet. Mr. Chairman, Michelle Howler could not be here tonight, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
All right. With the applicant not present, we have the opportunity, we can choose to go ahead and hear the case. Is that the consensus of the board? Okay.
I'd say we move
Move
forward.
forward. Anyone here from the public to speak?
No, Mr.
All
Chairman,
right.
no one has signed up.
The time is 6:06. We'll close the public hearing. Any questions for Ms. Ragsdale regarding this case? I will say, I spoke to her earlier. This is a private use campground, not a public use. It's for her private use. I was a little concerned about that, but anyway, it's private, so I will say that.
The site selection for the park, it looks like it's right in their front yard. Did I read that right? And it's kind of odd, but no real concerns. Kind of odd that it would be right there, and it's another neighbor right beside it.
So she owns both of those properties. And this campground will be used when friends and relatives come in to stay. So this will not be something that's open to the public for public use. It will be her own private use, but the ordinance does not specify between public and private campgrounds. So she has to get a special use permit for a campground, and then she will also be regulated by the health department because she has spaces for more than 3 RVs. But it is my understanding in conversations with her, she will never open this up to rentals for the public. This will be for her own private use when she has guests come in from out of town.
But she can use it for the public. There's no
She
distinction.
could, that's correct.
A new owner could, or is it the...
That's correct, they could, unless you place some type of condition on that.
I'm good, Mr. Chairman. I just had some questions on that. Thank you.
That's fine. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to read a positive motion, and then we'll see how it goes. Okay. Whereas Michelle Howler has petitioned the Board of Zoning Appeals for a special use permit for a campground, and whereas we find no substantial detriment to adjacent property, that the character of the zoning district will not be changed thereby, and that such use will be in harmony with the purpose and intent of the ordinance, I move the special use permit be granted. Motion?
So moved.
Mr. Chairman.
Is this with conditions or without?
With the condition, with the conditions as recommended by the staff. Any future expansion will require site plan approval by the Pennsylvania County Community Development Office to ensure compliance with all applicable zoning regulations, and 2, must remain in compliance with all applicable Virginia Department of Health regulations. Was there a comment? I heard somebody say.
So moved.
So we have so moved by Mr. Easley. Second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Yeaman. Cast your vote. Motion passed. All right. The time is 6:09. We'll open the public hearing to, let's see, let me get the right case up here. Case number S24022.
Case S-24-022, Mecklenburg Electric Cooperative has petitioned for a special use permit on 146.70 acres located on State Road 692 Transco Road in the Bannister Election District to allow for the placement of a transmission line in accordance with Pittsylvania County Code, Section 35-179. On November 7, 2024, the Planning Commission recommended by a 7-0 vote with no opposition that the petitioner's request be granted. The staff summary is enclosed in the board packet. Mr. Chairman, Jared Blair with Mecklenburg is here to represent the petition.
All right. Mr. Blair, do you have anything to add to the application? All right. Do we have anybody from the public to speak?
No one has signed up.
All right. The time is 6:10. We'll close the public hearing. Any comments from the board?
I think we should consider a positive motion.
All right. I'll read a positive motion. Whereas Mecklenburg Electric Cooperative has petitioned the Board of Zoning Appeals for a special use permit for a public utility transmission line, and whereas we find no substantial detriment to adjacent property, that the character of the zoning district will not be changed thereby, and that such use will be in harmony with the purpose and intent of the ordinance, I move the special use permit be granted. Do you hear a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Jay Crowder,
Second.
second by Mr. Stone. Motion passed. All right, that close that hearing. Then we have one more. All right, the time is 6:11. We'll open the public hearing for case S-24009. Ms. Ragsdale.
Case S-24-009, Aaron Tooley has petitioned for a special use permit on 3.85 acres located on State Road 992 Homestead Trail in the Dan River Election District to allow for a private recreational facility event venue in accordance with Pittsylvania County Code, Section 35-179. On November 7, 2024, the Planning Commission recommended by a 7-0 vote with opposition that the petitioner's request be granted with the conditions recommended by staff. Staff summary is enclosed in the board packet. Mr. Chairman, Aaron Tooley is here to represent the petition.
All right, Ms. Tooley, do you have anything to add to the application?
First, Brett's name is with two T's, not NT, I'm sorry.
We will fix that in our...
Thank you. Just want to let you know, the last board approved proffers that we have requested to hopefully appease our neighbors. We want to have tea parties at our home and in our backyard. I'd like to do some etiquette classes and some small events, and that's what we are asking for a special use permit for.
All right. Anyone have a question for Ms. Tooley? We may have some questions later, so thank you. Okay. Anybody here from the public to speak?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Time is 6:13. We'll close the public hearing. I know all of us have followed this case from Genesis 1:1, and I'm going to tell you, unbelievable. But anyway, I'll say my comment after we do what we got to do. Do we have any questions, any more questions for Ms. Tooley? Do you understand all the conditions that have been placed on here about the no event after 10 o'clock, no alcohol permitted, all structures for events shall comply with Virginia statewide fire prevention code and uniform statewide building code. All parking will be contained within the parking areas identified on the site plan. Events will be limited to maximum 75 people. All events shall comply with noise ordinance and shall comply with all applicable Virginia Department of Health. So, all of those, okay? All right, what do y'all feel? Positive motion?
Positive motion.
Positive motion, okay? Whereas Brett and Aaron Tooley has petitioned the Board of Zoning Appeals for a special use permit for a private recreational facility. And whereas we find no substantial detriment to adjacent property, that the character of the zoning district will not be changed thereby, and that such use will be in harmony with the purpose and intent of the ordinance, I move the special use permit be granted with the conditions I just read. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Yeaman, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Brumfield. Cast your vote. Motion passed. We are adjourned, but I would like to say this. I'm gonna tell you, this, and I can't apologize for Pennsylvania County, but for what you've been through just to get this permit, y'all deserve a medal, because it is unreal. And I just feel bad that you had to go through all this trouble, but I wish you the best. I go to Kentucky Church right down the road, go by there all the time, so I know. I've been following it from the very beginning. And I said, this is absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, I'm glad you got the permit, and I hope you have a tea party. I might come to one day. So, thank you for coming out. Merry Christmas to all of you. Very good. I just had to say that because that's about the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.